So are you struggling to stay consistent in the gym? Because let me tell you something, you're not alone. I've gone through the same exact thing. About 2 years ago, I actually started taking gym seriously. But the truth is, I was not even consistent. I was just skipping days. I was just working out whenever I feel like working out. I was working out whenever people tell me that they want to work out with me. Those are the only times I was actually training. But the truth is, I was not even consistent at all. And I thought I was consistent. That's the funny thing. Like when you're in this phase, you think that you're actually consistent. But that's the issue. So today I'm going to be teaching you how I actually overcame this issue and build consistency in fitness. Just like a year ago, I just started getting consistent on fitness. So I just made here a 4-step consistency blueprint. You can see behind me. The board is a bit smudged though, but because some ink spilled on it or something. But that's beside the point. So, man, when I just started training, I used to just I used to just work out without actually taking it seriously. And I didn't see any progress. That's the truth. I thought I was buff. Like you take these photos and you be posing and you think that you look buff, you think that you look cool. But truth is, I was skinny as hell and I was not making much progress. And people were calling me out because of that. Sometimes I could upload a video on IG and people be like, "Yo, bro, why are you talking about fitness when you're the same size as my sister?" Like what? 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 Like people, the internet is ruthless, man. It's a dark place. So I had to overcome this issue by being consistent. I was showing up to the gym. I was tracking my workouts. I was trying to get a good diet. But the truth is, all that was not necessary if I was not consistent. If you're not consistent in fitness, you're not going to see the results that you want to see. Because I know that you're doing fitness because you want to see big results and you want to have proof that you're actually a hardworking person. So if you want proof that you're actually a hardworking person, then you need to be consistent. You need to take it more seriously. So let's get started. Let me show you how I've actually built consistency in my life with this system. This is a system, by the way. Yeah, this 4-step system that I use in my day to day life and how you can also use it. So, first of all, fix your mindset. When you hear that, what do you think of? Fix your mindset. You think of these motivational speeches, oh, mindset training. But truth is, mindset is not just motivation, right? Mindset is having those skills in your head that enable you to take action without having to be motivated. Having those beliefs, getting rid of negative beliefs, getting rid of negative limiting beliefs. Like, for example, you cannot show up to the gym because you don't have the money for the gym. Have you ever tried working out at home? Or you say, I cannot eat properly because my mom cooks for me. Have you tried cooking for yourself? Like there's always a solution to every single problem. That's where the mindset comes in. If you don't have a very strong mindset, if you have a weak mindset, all these problems will be a good excuse for you to not be consistent on your journey. You will not take fitness seriously. You'll be there, you get distracted. Yeah. Like the most common thing that I see is a distracted mindset. You're working out and you get a notification on your phone. See, this is the thing about notifications. If you have notifications, please turn them off right now. Turn off all your notifications. There should only be like notifications for your calendar or something. But that kind of mindset where you sit down, like you in between a workout, you in between sets, you're sitting down and you're scrolling on your phone and you're trying to get that dopamine hit. You might think that you're doing something important, but the truth is the most important thing that you could be doing at that time is training. You cannot just be coming to the gym and you think that you're doing any progress when like almost 70% of the time that you spend in the gym is spent on your phone. You're not going to make any progress. So you have to have that mindset of no distraction. Let me even write that down. Let me write this down. I don't know if this marker works. Let's see. It's cool. So no distractions, no distractions mindset. You must have that. Then we also talked about the motivation, that discipline over motivation. Discipline over motivation mindset. Make sure you have that as well. It's very important. And no distractions mindset, the discipline over motivation mindset. Then another mindset that you will need to actually be able to stay consistent is I can do this. I'm doing this for the rest of my life. I can do this until the day I die. So you have to have a forever mindset as well. You see, when I got into fitness, I used to say, man, I'm just doing it to, to grow some chest and to get some a six pack. You know what I mean? And the truth is I was not making any progress because that was my mindset. My mindset was that if you go to the gym, you're not supposed to look like those big bodybuilders. You're supposed to look like an average Joe, which is very stupid. And I hear this every day. Like I like to do this thing where I sometimes I ask people probing questions. I ask people questions that trigger something in them, when I meet them. Not in a disrespectful way, but just to get a thought provoking answer and a thought provoking conversation, to take it a bit deeper. This actually helps me establish deeper connections with people. But sometimes I can ask someone something like, you're like, why are you not gymming? And they'll say something like, "Oh man, I don't want to get too big, man. I don't want to be too big. I don't want to be like Arnold, I don't want to be big, I don't want to be so huge. That's why I don't go to the gym. I just run and I play some sports." And I'm thinking to myself, you will never get big. With that kind of mindset, you'll never get big. The people who got big were not there saying that they don't want to get big and then they accidentally got big. First of all, you can never, ever get accidentally big. It's impossible. If you think about it, it's very stupid. You can't be accidental. You cannot just get big. Getting big takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of leverage, takes a lot of, come on, man, it takes a lot. So don't be out here trying to convince yourself that you can't get into the exercise because you're scared of it being a forever thing. You're scared of getting results. Why are you scared of getting results when this is something that you actually want? Be honest with yourself, right? You're a man. Look in the mirror. Be honest with yourself. Tell yourself, like, ask yourself these kinds of questions. I always hear Hamza talking about this thing. Sit in your room for a while and stare at the wall. This is what I mean by self reflection. That's what's going to help you actually fix your mindset, right? So you have to have that forever mindset, that forever, that this is a lifelong journey. It's not that I'm trying to become big like those bodybuilders, or I'm trying to stay small like an average Joe. No, he said, I am committing to this as a journey to benefit my health, to benefit my strength, to help me become more resilient. You see, that's the thing. When you have a forever mindset, you end up building resilience. When you have this, when you're doing fitness, when you're consistent in your fitness, you end up building what they call resilience, mental resilience. What does this mean? This means that your mind becomes callous. You know what I mean by callous? You know those like that hard part on your hands when you've been lifting for too long, or that very hard part on your feet, when you've been walking for too long, that kind of thing. Your mind becomes callous because it's now used. It's like, okay, it's time. Like, it's used to hard things. So whenever something hard comes about, you'll be ready. You're not like, scared like someone who hasn't gone through hard things. So it helps you build that mental resilience. So make sure that you have these mindsets. Fix your mindset. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you have no distractions. Don't be scrolling on your phone in between sets. It's a waste of time. I just go to the gym and gym. And then also discipline over motivation. It's like you cannot always feel motivated. You're not going to feel like coming to the gym. You're not going to feel like doing what you need to do. You're not going to feel like staying consistent on your diet as well. You're going to make up excuses. But if you have the discipline, if you're like, nah, this is easy for me, you actually make it. You'll make it. Then also the forever mindset that I'm talking about, make sure that you know that you're doing this for the rest of your life. This is not like at a certain point you just stop gymming, or at a certain point you just give up on fitness because you will achieve your goal. The truth is you will never achieve your goal. However big you get, you always feel like you can get bigger. However strong you get, you feel like you can get stronger. That's the struggle as a man. Our purpose never runs out. It just transforms. It just evolves, turns into something else as we get older, as we experience more things in life. So, number one, with the consistency mindset, is fixing your mindset. The consistency blueprint is fixing your mindset. As I've said, make sure that you fix your mindset. The mindset is very, very important. That's why I put it on number one. Then the second thing that you need to do to stay consistent in your fitness journey is to build your routine. Make sure that you actually have a specific routine. I actually just talked about this in my last video. Check out my last video. I talked about how you can actually build your own routine without, hiring a coach or, trying to go online and look for people's routines and everything. You can actually make your own. So I just made that video. So build your own routine. What does this mean? Build your routine. A routine is a plan that you follow every single day to help you achieve your goals. Without the routine, you see, the thing about the routine is what they call systems. Yeah. So a lot of people talk about this. A lot of people say, do not focus on goals. I think this was in Atomic Habits by James Clear, that book that I was reading. They talk about how do not focus on the goals, focus on the systems. So focus on the systems. What does this mean? This means that the process is the most important thing. And when it comes to your fitness or your self improvement, when I talk about the process, the routine is a very fundamental part of the process because the routine is what's going to help you actually stick to the process. It's what's going to help you stay there every single day. If you don't have a specific routine, you're going to be like that one uncle, that one friend of yours who has been going to the gym for like 5 years straight, but we're not even seeing any like belly loss. They still have the belly. You know what I mean? It's very important. It's very embarrassing if you think about it. You don't want to be that kind of person who shows up, who dedicates their life to things like fitness, and people don't even see it in you. You need to be walking around as an example. You need to be the kind of person who walks around and lives inspiration. People see you and they're like, yeah, this is the goal. This is what I want to be. I want to be healthy like that. People have to see you like that. And you cannot achieve that without a routine. You'll be one of those people who just shows up sometimes. Sometimes. That's very, very risky if you're showing up at sometimes. You think that you see, the thing about not having a routine is that when you're showing up sometimes, you will think that you're making progress. You will think that you're actually doing the right thing. You will think that you're being productive. The problem is you're being productive doing things that aren't productive by missing the days. You know what I mean? When you miss the days, that is actually hindering on your productivity. That's making you worse. So you're not being productive if you're missing days. Even if you show up one day in a week or you show up one, it's not very good. What you need to do is to show up. You see, for me, I show up to the gym every day, every single day. I have no rest days. I don't believe in it, right? But you can take your rest days if you want. But that's not me. And if you're somebody who really, really, really wants to see results and progress, then adopt my mindset as well. Fix your mindset. Adopt my mindset and stop taking rest days. Stop giving the excuse that, rest is important, man. I always hear this. Rest is so important. Like you need to rest. Yeah. So why do you sleep? Some of you even sleep more than 8 hours a night. Why are you sleeping? That's rest. That's what rest is. That's the rest that you need. You don't need to take whole days off of not training. What is your competition doing? You might be here trying to act like, as a man, we're competing with ourselves. Just, I compete with myself. I'm competing myself from yesterday. Nah. The truth is, this world is competitive. You're competing with other men. The day that you take a rest day, the day that you don't follow your routine, someone else is taking it. There is another man out there who wants your woman, who wants to have a better child than your child, whose child would kick your ass. Like, for him, he's not taking a day off. That's the funny thing. He's not taking a day off. He doesn't have that excuse in his head. So make sure you build your routine. So that's the reason why you should build your routine. But how do you build your routine? All right? How? So for me, what I like to do is, if I'm building my routine, let me move here a bit. I don't even know if you can see me from here. This is crazy. I'll just be writing up. If I want to build my routine, I need to make sure that I have a calendar. That's number one. And then also, I need to make sure that I'm using a journal. But that's just me. right? In this blueprint that I created, I have so many other tools that you can use. But basically, a calendar is the best thing because it will help you know when to actually do your routine. And the journal is where you will be writing down your daily tasks. It's where you write down your daily missions so that you can actually achieve whatever you need to achieve for that day, so that you can actually follow your routine. So that's how you build a routine. Use the calendar. The calendar is where you're plotting the time, you're allocating time for your exercises. And then the journal is where you write down what you're supposed to do specifically. You can write down what you're supposed to do for today. You can write down what you're supposed to do for this week or for this month so that you can actually know what you're supposed to do. So this is more like time. I'll call this for, this is a, I'll put here the, like an emoji. You know what I'm saying? For time. This is for time. And this right here is for action. You know what I mean? What is this? What am I drawing right now? That's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah. So this one's for time and this is for action. That's how you actually build a proper routine. So let's move on. We've talked about fixing your mindset, making sure that you have that bulletproof mindset so that you can actually stay consistent. I had to overcome this. This is crazy. But also, we talked about building your routine, which is very, very important, so that you can actually have, you can actually know what you're supposed to do every day, and you make sure that you're focusing on your systems. Systems are so important. The process is so important. You know, the goal is there. You know, the funny thing, I had this on a podcast. Somebody talked about this, that our that you should focus on, you shouldn't focus, you see, every single poor person, every single person on this planet has the same goals. All poor people have the same goals. We all want to get rich, something like that. We all want to travel the world. We all want to, you know what I mean? Everyone has the same goals. But what separates the people who actually achieve those goals and the people who don't end up achieving those goals? It's this. This is what it is. This is the most important thing. You know, everyone wants to get rich, but not everyone's rich. That's a weird thing. The rich people are all like top 1%. That's top 1%. So that means that it comes down to their systems. It comes down to their processes. How are they showing up? Not just are they showing up, because yes, consistency is important, but how are they actually showing up? Are they giving 110% every time they show up? Are they actually putting their heart into their work, or are they just corporate slaves who are just showing up to get a paycheck and just feed their families, or maybe just to get rich for themselves? Yeah, I mean, how are you actually showing up? What are your systems? What are your processes? That is what the routine is for. That's what having a routine is for. So let's move on. Next, you make sure that you stay accountable. You can already guess what I'm about to talk about right now. Friends, having people who you can actually train with. So you see, when I just started training, I was training alone. I was in this Sigma grind set, you know, Sigma mindset, just training alone, trying to be a lone wolf. And it worked for a while, but eventually it started having negative effects on my gains and also on my mental health. So starting with the mental health, I was alone. This means that I never had a community of men, of brothers who are around me to actually help me and push me towards the same goal that we are participating in. You know, if it's fitness, I didn't have people to actually train with. So that means I would show up to the gym, or not even necessarily the gym. This is like, sometimes I'll go to a public gym, other times I'll train from home with like jerry cans and random weights like bags and stuff, things that you just make up. So I would just show up and I would give my best, but my best wasn't very good. It was trash. If I'm being honest with you, it was fake. I was not pushing very hard because I didn't have people around me who could actually help me push. Right? That's with the mental health. As well as the fitness, my progress sucked. My progress wasn't good. I thought I was making progress. The skinny people around me, like family members and what, told me I was making progress. But the truth is, when I looked in the mirror, I was not happy with what I saw because I was training alone. When you train alone, you lack that testosterone. You lack that. There's a testosterone boost that comes from training with your brothers. Like I'm telling you, I've dealt with this firsthand. I have had many experiences at my nursery school gym, Be Smart. where I train from almost every single day. I've been training there for about 1 year now. And last year was the craziest. I can't even lie to you. Since this year we've had more people fell off, people are not very consistent. But we've had more of like the disciplined people, so there are few this year. But last year we had a lot of people and the energy was crazy. Honestly, the energy was mad. We're all pushing each other, we're all shouting, there's music, there's what. And I actually found it much better, not to be sexist or anything, but I found it much better when we train as guys without ladies around. Because when there's a girls around, people start acting weird, the men start acting passive aggressive, everyone starts acting kind of weird. So it takes away from that masculinity, it takes away from that testosterone, that drive, where it's only men. When it's only guys around, trust, you're gonna get that motivation. You're gonna get a pump. You can get a pump from not even training, just watching your homeboy train. It's crazy. Like when there's guys around, it's insane. And also the thing about not having shorties around, yeah, this ain't sexist, but the truth is, no shorties. Let me even write that down. No girls. YouTube's gonna see this and take me down. So I'll just put here no girls in the gym. No girls in the gym. The thing about having no girls as well is guys start being free, more free, and they open up and they can be more themselves in the gym with each other. So make sure if you do build that friend group of people who you work with, try to not include ladies. It's not very good. It's not very good for the whole experience. You guys can hang out with the shorties another time, but when it comes to masculine activity, you should do masculine activity with masculine brothers. So yeah, staying accountable. That sounds easy, right? You might be like, Shaka, that sounds easy. That sounds like something you would do because you have friends. How do I get friends? Listen, hear me out. So the truth is, when I was training alone, I had to get consistent by getting friends. And I knew this, but I was scared of doing it because I didn't want to be needy. So, how did I do it? How did I actually get friends to train with? How did I get people to train with without actually coming off as someone who is needy and desperate and lonely or something like that? This is what I did. I set up my lifestyle to make sure that I am able to attract those kind of people around me. So let's say, where do you think these friends are? Let's do a visualization right now. In your mind, where do you think these friends are? Where are they? You want people who are training, right? That means they're also training. So where are they training from? You already know what happened. Storage ran out. Can't lie to you. Send me an iPhone 15 Pro Max. You already know. So I was talking about how you can stay accountable by having friends. And I think I had stopped right when I was talking about how you can find your friends. So we're visualizing where exactly you would find this kind of person, the person who you want to train with. So we already know, for me as me, I already know that these people are running on the streets. Sometimes they're doing exercise on the streets. Other times they're working out at their homes. That one's going to be a bit hard. You don't want to be going door to door like a salesman asking, hey, may I work out with your son? That's crazy. It's really weird. But as well as the public gyms. So sometimes I go to the public gyms. That's where I can find some people who to train with, though I've not had so much success with that. The most success I've had, if I'm being honest with you, is taking walks, taking long walks around my city, around my estate, around the whole area. Taking walks, it has really transformed everything. It's helped me find more people who are down for this kind of thing, people who are like want to train, and it's really helped me stay accountable, as we're talking about, and to stay consistent with fitness. Yeah, so make sure that you're taking your walks. Try taking a walk. If you're scared of taking walks, man, I don't even know what to say to you at this point. Just take a walk. Right? Mind your business, take a walk. But at the same time, when you're taking walks, also try to be social. Try to talk to NPCs. Right? Don't be that kind of person who thinks that the main character is supposed to be lonely. No, the main character is supposed to be interacting with NPCs. Talk to NPCs. Talk to all these random people that you see whenever you take walks. All right. So make sure that you stay social. If you want to stay accountable, make sure that you take walks and you be social. Make sure that you're being social on your walks. It's very, very important. So being accountable is sorry, having friends is gonna help you stay accountable because it gives you the systems for you to not fall off. it creates a system where it's hard for you to like miss gym because you have people who are going to train. So when your brother tells you, yo, I'm going to train on this day, it's going to be hard for you to miss training on that day because your bro has told you that he's going to train. So you don't want your bro to one up you. Maybe if you're used to that kind of feminine mindset that, like me versus me. No, it's none of that. There's nothing like me versus me. It's you versus the world, plus also you. So make sure that you stay accountable by having people who are around you, people who can hold you accountable. If you can't find a friend, it's very simple. Get a coach. Right? I'm a coach myself. If you want, book a call with me and I can help you with this. I can help you stay accountable. So make sure that you're staying very accountable and make sure that you're having people around you who help you not miss and not fall off. Then moving on to the fourth one, we've talked about fixing your mindset, which means avoiding distractions, which also means being having that forever mindset, knowing that you're going to do this forever, and also it means having that discipline over motivation. Then we also talked about the routine. Hold on, let me get this marker right now because I need to write some pointers. We talked about building your routine, which means having your systems down. And how do you do this? You use the calendar and then you also use a journal. So make sure you do that. So then we also move to staying accountable. That means having people around you who can hold you accountable. That gives you the system for you not to fall off, and making sure that you have no girls in the damn gym. Don't be that one guy who brings their shorty to work out with them. Like it's boring. You just ruin the whole mood for the whole vibe. And people are not going to tell you this, but deep down, people are feeling like this. So you need to be that kind of person who shows up with a brother, pull up with a brother. That's more motivation. Then, last but not least, track your progress. So I see a lot of people who just train, if I'm being honest with you. I've seen a lot of people who just train and they're not really tracking their progress. They're just showing up and they think that just showing up is enough. And they eventually fall off. Why do they fall off? They fall off because they did not have any sort of reward system. You see, our brains work in this sort of way called positive feedback. Positive feedback is very important for creating a new habit or sticking to a habit. What does this mean? Your brain works in what they call feedback loops. Feedback loops. That means that there has to be actually, I'm gonna try to get this from the top of my head, from a book I was reading. What do they call it? Atomic Habits. This is the loop. This is how the loop loops. The loop looks. But yeah, so a feedback loop starts with a cue, and then it moves to a craving. From a cue means you see something, then moves to a craving. A craving is the desire of that thing. Then I'm sure it moves on to something to do with pursuing it. That means something to do with like the action, something like that. And then the reward. So this right here is a feedback loop that we enter. This is the only way that you can stay consistent in any habit that you're trying to create. For now, we're talking about fitness. So how does this come into play? So if you want to make sure that fitness is something that is a non-negotiable, something that you don't skip, then make sure that you have your cues. What does this mean? Make sure that your environment, the cues is the environment. You write it there. Environment. So the cues are the environment. It's the environment that you're in. It's what you see, visual cues. This is what triggers you. What triggers you to actually stay consistent. That means when it comes to, let me give you an example. For me, a good cue for me is in the morning, I like to leave my bottles, my gloves, I like to leave my bag everywhere specific, somewhere specific. So that when I wake up and I see it, I'm like, yeah, this is go time. So I'm already have that motivation to go and work out. But if I didn't have it like that, then I might wake up and come up with some other excuse for why I shouldn't be training. So for me, that's my visual cue. You can use your environment in so many ways to help you become more consistent. You can just leave a bottle of water next to your bed. So when you wake up, you see the bottle of water, you're like, it's go time. You know what I mean? So use your environment as a cue. Then moving on to the craving. That means that how can you want to work out more? Right? That means that you make your you make it more attractive. You make exercise more attractive. So yeah, you have the cue, like you've seen that you want to work out, like you've seen that the workout should happen. But what actually makes you desire taking action? What makes you want to actually pursue it? That means that you need to make your exercise routine attractive. That means that when it comes to making it attractive, make sure that you know what you're going to do. Make sure you have your routine. This leads back to the routine, as well as watch some videos, do some research, find ways to actually be like inspired. And when you're inspired, obviously you'll get the motivation and you have to take action. This moves us to action. When it comes to action, that this talks about like the doing it, because for you to actually be consistent in fitness, you need to actually be doing fitness. You need to be working out. So when it comes to action, that means you take action and you do it properly, and that will actually help you want to do it again. So this is how right now we're talking about how to actually make a habit stick and how to or to create a habit. Then there's the reward, which is what we're talking about here. The reward means for you, for your brain to get used to something new, you have to reward it after you've done that thing. That means that if you've gone for your workout, do not just like work out the whole time without even knowing like what you're doing. You see, when you're using progress, it stopped. Oh, it says battery low. Yeah, the battery is low, but let's finish this up real quick. But I was saying, when you're actually tracking your progress, you're able to give your mind rewards. You're able to give your brain a way to reward yourself. It's like rewarding yourself. When you look at a photo of yourself when you're skinny, you look at a photo of yourself when you're like now, you see that progress. When you're tracking that progress, man, it's like a reward to the brain. It's like, okay, it makes this whole thing, it makes the whole habit of fitness more attractive, more doable, and it will make sure that you don't even skip. So make sure that you have that reward. If any of these four things are missing from when you're trying to create a habit or you're trying to stay consistent on a habit, it will not work. It will never stick. You'll never, if you're not having the cue, if you're not having the visual cues, and if you're not having the craving, if it's not attractive and something that you want to do, and if you're not taking action and actually practicing it, and if you're not getting a reward from that action, you'll never actually continue it. So tracking your progress is a good way to reward yourself. It's a reward. Oh my God, the marker is doing its thing now. Wow. It's a reward. It's a reward system. Not just reward, it's like statistics. You know what I mean? It's a good way to know how far you've come. Right? So if you track your progress, I'm telling you, it will be impossible for you to fall off. So each one of these things here actually kind of ties into this system here. Try to figure it out. But thank you so much for watching. I think that's all. That's the best way that you can stay consistent and using this consistency blueprint. Right? So I actually just made this into a proper program. My consistency blueprint that I've used, I made it into a proper program for you to use. So if you need extra help, right, this is what you need to do. If you need extra help, you need to do this. Book a call. Don't even put the call emoji right there. You know what I'm saying? Book a call using the top link in the description. We'll talk and I'll see if you're actually a good match for a good fit for my consistency blueprint. And if you need extra help, you can DM me on Instagram and I'll help you, promise you, because I'm just trying to, get in the reps. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you actually got value from this video. And please watch this last video that I uploaded so that you can be more consistent. No wasting time. This is your year. Peace.